Welcome to the Rappelz Tournament Beginner's Guide for each of the races for Azura, Gaia, and Deva. The two mostly viable classes for Azura will be Void Mage and Corruptor. The somewhat usable, still kind of used, is Deadeye. And for the pet class, if you want a kind of a hybrid between a Void Mage and a pet class, Overlord. Slayer is currently not viable until it gets properly tuned. Each class takes a long time to fully tune so it's not broken or other skills, but the two main ones will be Void Mage, Corruptor, because they're kind of similar. Void Mage is more AoE oriented. Corruptor is more self-sufficient, although Void Mage with Drain Life does have viability. And Overlord if you just want a hybrid of that. For Gaia, the two main ones used at the moment are Beastmaster. Again, if you want a pet class. This one is a little different than Overlord. This one you become your pet. So you have your pet and then you become it with Soul Harmony. Gives you a massive buff. And War Kahuna. This used to be the main one used by everyone, but with some changes, it's now not as used anymore. It's still strong enough, but it has its issues comparatively. Magus is just a buff slave. Berserker, like Slayer, isn't fully tuned yet, so you're not going to see anyone playing that. Or Marksman. Not really used all that much. So in this section, we will be going over the Deva classes. This is where you'll see the main one used on the server, which is Templar. It has a nice balance between high defense, high health, and damage. This one is the most recently tuned besides Void Mage. Void Mage was the most recently tuned, but Templar is the main one used. Mercenary, not used. Cardinal is exclusively for buff slave. Oracle, not used at all. Its healing abilities aren't really great because they need to be buffed significantly, but you don't really need a healing slave. You just use an ethereal pixie. And then if you want the Deva, you get the Master Breeder for the pet class. This one is kind of good. Beastmaster's better by a lot for AoE and just overall damage, but this one's good for just pets overall. Its pet classes aren't buffed as much as they used to be. They caused server issues, so they got tuned down a little bit so they wouldn't be so spammy. But overall, they're fine. You can get most of the endgame content just slower because you just have your Crystal Golem as your tank and an Ethereal Pixie as a healer. It's viable. Even at Reborn 0, you don't have much to worry about. Overall, I could just pop up a tier list here. These are the classes that, again, S tier will be Void Mage and Templar. Those will be like the main ones used. A tier would be Corruptor, Beastmaster, War Kahuna. And some people really like Marksman. I'm not so fond of it. I haven't really played it at all, but it's just one of those added things. B tier would be Overlord and Magus. C tier would be the ones that are kind of broken, but okay. This tier list is specifically for new players. This isn't indicative of how the classes overall are. It is strictly for beginner players. So Deadeye, for instance, can be useful later on when you actually can farm stuff. But for brand new players, you should not start as Deadeye. It is not going to be a fun time. So. Alright, so we will make the character. Beginner's Guide. Okay. You can do whatever you'd like. There's the different outfits you get. Much variety. All the different skin colors, eye stuff. 2 different colored eyes. Woohoo. Okay, I'll meet you in game. Alright, so you will notice this screen when you log in. You're going to be zoomed in, so use your scroll wheel. So this just announces your thing in the chat. Let's see. So you zoom out. This is where the Deva starts. So first thing you want to do is hit your semicolon colon button and equip the camper title. This will reduce your incoming damage significantly. So at all times until you get much later in the game, just stick with camper. Priest teleporters are going to be useful. I'll be going over these in a few minutes, just going over the NPCs, but these will be the different areas you'll be leveling at. For the 170 section, it'll be the island. After that, it'll be the abyss. There are also 2 more dungeons currently. You get the Relics Moonlight and Crystal Valley. Crystal Valley is still being tuned enough, but for now, Horizon is the main city that most people go towards. It's the main hub for everything. While we get to the NPCs, checking your inventory, you get a free set of gear to use. So make sure to equip the wings. These are timed for the month. This is very important for leveling purposes. So I would drag this onto your hotbar. You get to use this once a day. It's basically a stamina saver on steroids, but it's once a day. Here's your stamina saver. Drag this to your bar. Eventually we'll have to level up a little bit, so we'll level up once we get there. So we can go here to your job supporter. For other gear, make sure to equip your Unity rings. Make sure to equip your large quilted bag, a chaos necklace, and some of the Deco gear. This does increase your stats a little bit. Kind of useful. So make sure to use that. We will have to get to this. This is your premium pass. So you can put this on your bar. You pop it. It gives you all the Hidden Valley buffs, all the things that you could really want. We're going to avoid these guys because these will potentially kill us. So we just got to skirt around them for now. This is the green mana stone. I'm just going to get out of aggro range for those guys. They are a little spicy. So you double click it. It starts doing this. It will spawn a pixie. You want to go to the pixie while having these popped, and you will get a ton of EXP. The next one's over here. On the way, these are Masterclass. We would have to level up that first. So just do. That's the next one. These are your world buffs. I would put this next to this so you can click on them. They are quite useful. So as you see, we're at 166. This is your level up reward box. We have gotten a decent level so far. So that was the 100 box. You get a built upgrade kit and the ultimate kit. These are guaranteed to work. You don't have to struggle with that at all. These are useful. I would use these ones all the time. You'll get enough of these. These are also very useful. This is the third one. So for Templar, we would want strength, vitality, intelligence. That's it. That's the next one. Almost done. There is one more. There are different methods to level, but as a beginner, this is the guaranteed one to work. You won't have to worry about stuff. So just getting over here. This will be probably the second to last one we need. Do note, at level 160, you do get another free premium pass. So it's up to you whether or not you want to level up again to get that, or just keep the box for later for in a week. Some of the rewards are just more premium pass stuff, so it's useful to keep it on hand. You can also get it from spin tokens. There is sometimes a greenstone here. This one takes a really long time to respawn for some reason. I'm not sure why it takes so long. But here it is. Alright, about to get 170. Alright, now we are 170. We can now return to town. We get a homunculus heart. Homunculus heart is useful if you want to switch your class and race completely. So if you didn't like this one, you wanted to try an Azora race or a Guardian race, you would go to the job change and use the homunculus heart. Otherwise, Scroll of Rebirth works just fine. On the way there, you'll be getting arena mystery boxes a lot from drops. This is incredibly useful. This is where you get, when you open them, the gladiator stuff for these buffs. So if you're ever starting to run low and you farm a lot of these, just open like 500 of them to 1,000. That should give you enough. So close the window. So class transfer, Holy Warrior, I am sure. What I recommend, don't even do the skills yet. Just go to job level 50. There isn't really a way to make this go faster, unfortunately. So you're just going to have to spam click this as much as you can. It is very entertaining. I'm aware that you're going to have to do this 3 more times. Okay, back, class transfer. Alright, so when you get to Masterclass, you get promote to Masterclass. You get sent to the Masterclass zone. You don't have to do the quest line. We have skipped that part. You just get sent right to the Abomination Girl, thankfully. Then go right back to Horizon. At this point, this is where you want to set your return point to Horizon, so you don't get sent back to the Trainee Island area. It's not really a big deal, the priest teleporter's right there, but this is where you want to do that, so that you don't get screwed over, because a lot of people have joined, and then they keep getting sent back, and they forget to set the return point. So do that now that you are Masterclass. Alright. I will have leveled all the skills that I can in a second. Okay. Alrighty. That was enough. So, once you get to Masterclass level, you can get a one-time tamed weapons. This is useful to help you get the weapons. At level 180, you get the Nussy armor set timed also. This is for Reborn. So once you get Reborn, you can get auto buffs. For the most part, you can use the premium pass. It gives you the same buffs. Next one will be Trade Angel. This one also gives you the buffs if you want. I don't really use it for that. This is for W coins. You use that to exchange at the event NPC Maya for awakening stones and different things. This one's for ruby exchange. So if you have a excess amount of rubies, you're in gold cap, you use that. Diamonds are used at Lost Child to get the plus 99 stones. Typhoon scrolls are for identifying volcanous items. Lack is the other way to get that. This is all if you want to remove all your buffs, your testing stuff. Sell bulk 1 is for all items before Abyss 1 through 4. It'll sell everything for equipment, weapons, all unidentified items it will sell. It will not sell gear that you have +1 or higher. This is another editor shim moment. It's +11. Any item below +11 will be sold. So, yeah, on the sell page you'll see it says +11. Have a buff set. Make sure to have at least +1 to +5 on them so they don't get auto sold. Sell Bulk 2 does the same thing, but now Abyss 1 through 4's gear is sold. Abyss 4 is a little different. It drops the Yeshiva necklace and the Yeshiva earrings. You don't get those auto-sold. You have to manually sell those for now. The GM may add that as a Sell Bulk 3 feature. Next NPC will be Lost Child. This is where you will buy most of your stuff. So this is consumables. As you can see, all the consumables you really could want. This one's useful for just getting your stamina consistently up. And this one I like just keeping my stamina above a certain threshold. Buffs. You're not really going to use any of these. This one will eventually have to change, but this is where you get these. You also get these from the level up boxes. So if you use all of them, you can do that. The enchant window, this is where you get the accessories one, the sealing scrolls, ancient cube. You can buy philosopher's scrolls. I wouldn't. Maybe you want at start. You'll be getting thousands of these. But this is where you get this stuff. Amalgams, this is where you get it for plus 21 to plus 25. Fortune cubes, all this stuff. For the necklace, you want to buy 1 Chaos Stone package and 10 Ancient Chaos Stones to upgrade your necklace. I'll be doing that in a few minutes, but I don't have the rubies right now because brand new account. Soul Stones, this is where you can buy these ones. For now, these will work. You just want to be this one. So for us, as the Templar, we would use the Guardian and the Annihilation, because you always want crit power, no matter what. And then the second one is just your main stat. So for us, it's Vitality. For mages, it's the Mage Stone for Intelligence. This is where the diamonds come in. Each one is represented for the plus 99 stone. So Guardian and Annihilation. Scrolls, this is the useful one. This one you can do trading. Kind of, it bugs out if you're taking damage and stuff, so be careful of that. All-in-one teleporter is the portable version of the priest teleporter. So make sure to buy a decent amount of these ones. The return feathers are very useful if you're at a spot and you want to sit at it for a while and you don't have to run back and forth, running back and forth. That can get annoying, so that really helps. Boss cards. For the most part, this is where you're going to get most of the boss cards. There are a few of them that are endgame that you have to do a little more for. But for our purposes, we will get the Budka card. This one increases the grace level by 2. It's quite helpful. And this is where we can also get Soul of Lunacy. This is a useful starter one until we either get the Hector one, Hector boss card of Courage. That'll be a little better than this one, but we have to go kill Hectors for that. S cards. This is where you get all your basic cards. Start at plus 6, but these are a little expensive. So each class, so first job class, second job, master job class. So you would go to Templar, and this is where we get Holy Ground, Onslaught, and Imbued Light. Each one is there. This is more of a later on thing when we actually farm enough. This is just styles. This one is Chargestone, Lack Soul. This is again for the Typhoon Scrolls. And Volcanic. This is endgame. You're not going to worry about doing Volcanics for a while. It's just going to take too long if you're even able to kill it to begin with. Alright. Next NPC is Hector. For the most part, this is where you're going to get your parallel armors. These all drop in the abysses, but if you don't want to farm and you just have a ton of rubies, you can just buy them here. If you're making a bunch of buff slave stuff, I honestly recommend that. This is just other gear. This used to matter before. It doesn't really matter much anymore. This is where you get these cloaks. This is where I usually buy this one, just so you can move a little faster. Alright, wings. This is where you get the basic wings. This is if you quit for a while, come back, you need like a set of wings just to hold you over until you get new ones. Arena items, accessories. Actually, accessories if you want like the Masterclass stuff. This isn't really used. So this is editor shim. So this area is particularly useful for belts. If you cannot buy the bearskin belt, you just use one of these, get 6 slots, and go from there. This will allow you to have 6 slots on your belt. You can use the one for your class. For the most part, it doesn't really matter. You're going to be replacing them soon anyway. But yeah, this is where you buy your belt and use it. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck trying to farm the bearskin belt without a belt on. And then you can't use your belt pets or boss cards that you just bought. So this is where you get your bearskin or your just belt to use for later on until you get a bearskin belt or yeshiva belt. These are useful. These will hold us over for the most part until we get the other rings if your Unity rings run out. Arena items. This is where you can buy the Deco gear and this stuff for points. You usually get these just from quests and such, or if you wanted to do arena and grind that out, but you usually get these from like the boxes and stuff. The cloaks, if you want +3 stats, you can choose whatever one you want. And then Deco items. This is if you want the temporary items. These work, but it's just a small amount of stat, so I don't usually use them much at all. This is the pet trader one. This is where you're going to use your... You get these for pet stuff, so the epic pets are bugged. They don't give potions. This is a Rappelz bug, not a server bug. This happened in Rappelz. They bugged out. So this is where you get those potions. So for us as Templars, we want the Bloodthirsty Slaughterer buff. That gives us vitality. You can try each one. The JP Trader, this gives your points, job points. This costs your JP, so we're not going to use that for now. Soul Spirits. This is just this area, not really useful for us anymore, because you can just directly buy the artifacts. This is if you want a different looter pet. Here's all the loot pets. This one is the mounts. All the different mounts. You usually run faster than most of the mounts. These are all the empty pet cards, except for the epic ones, so those come from Abyss, but if you want like these ones for belt pets, this is where you get them. You get a lot of these from drops anyway. And this is the artifacts. These work fine until endgame. There is an endgame one. That gives increase of skill. And this is where you get more spell books, respecialization potions. This is for staging your pets. This will be useful. Soul pets and the name change. This is also the NPC where you'll be getting your daily quests from. So if you want T-Silver, T-Gold, that is the currency of the server to get endgame items right from this NPC. So this is Spin and Win. This is every hour you are logged in, you get 1 spin token. You can get the premium pass. It usually takes about 15 spins, so you can just leave it logged in. Golden spins are the end game currency. I would wait until you get 500 T-Gold to buy the 11, but otherwise it costs 50 T-Gold per spin. You get a lot of the end game items here. So there is a preview button, so this is the gold spins preview pool. And these are all the endgame stuff. This is the endgame pet ring. That's a stage 5 potion. Don't use this on your normal pets. This is for the gold spin pets. These are the endgame artifacts that I was talking about. This is to identify them. You get this also from Abyss 4 or Volcanus, and a lot of the endgame areas. These are the Deco cloaks. This is like the best in slot one. This is your Shiva built. This is where you get your Yeshiva built. This increases your levels of skills. You can usually buy this for most players for about 30 TGOLD-ish, depending on the belt. This is the Deco gear. These will be good enough until you do Volcanus. This is Devil Reviac. You can get this from Reborn tokens. Yeshiva Diamond Ring is the best in slot ring because it increases damage towards mobs. You can reroll this until you get beast damage or devil damage, depending on what you're doing. Guardian gear is the best gear in the game. This starts at level 1, so you don't have to re-equip everything all the time. Jolly Roger endgame is wonderful. You can buy this for 50 TGOLD as well. And yeah, you can go through this. The boss crystals, that's get the skills from different boss cards. So these are more endgame stuff when you're doing that. That's the grind for the endgame besides leveling. These are all the different wings. These are 15% 4-slot wings. These are the second best in slot. The Lavo Deco wings from Volcanus is the best in slot. And it's just, you can go through this. These are gold pets. These are different than normal pets. These give Master's Blessing, which gives you an increased stats. So when you get them to stage 5 with that stage 5 pet potion, they'll give plus 270 or plus 300, and then with the pet artifact, you can get an additional level. So with these, you can get the pet skill for Master's Devotion, and that'll increase the level a little bit more. So I think it's 330. Could be wrong. It's not off the top of my head. And then, yeah, that is the NPC for that. The mystery box is pretty much just for boss crystals and the Ares Awakening Stone stuff and the epic stuff. Most part, this is like truly endgame. Like if you've got all the other stuff and you're just trying to get this stuff, that is what the mystery box is. Not really used much for most people because you're too new. You're not going to use it much. Alright, we're just going to continue on. So the event NPC Maya is under this dragon. This dragon is just a player, so you're probably not going to see this. This is where you would exchange the W coins for Awakening Stones. T Silver, you could summon. You're not going to do this one. And this is the main one you're going to be using this for, the Elite Boss Souls. This is where you get weapon food and armor food. So this is one of the places you can also get it from Spin and Win, from just the normal login tokens. This is the Child Guardian for Reborn purposes, as I mentioned before. So from Reborns 1 through 20, you use Reborn character. Once you get to level 200, Advanced Reborn is you have to level up to 230. So just keep that in mind. This one is the if you want to spend your TGOLD on items, or if you want to convert your T-Silver and T-Bronze to their respective coins. 100 T-Silver is 1 T-Gold, 100 Bronze is 1 T-Silver, and this is all the different stuff you can get. I would just go through it. There's the donation page. It'll bring up the donation page. You have to go through the Discord server or the website to get to that. It is at this point in which we will begin the leveling process. So for this, make sure your premium pass is active. Make sure to activate our little stones. You'll notice the stamina saver's already reset. This cooldown's only about 10 minutes. And then we will... So if these are active on the server, you can't use these for, I think it's 20 minutes. So we will do that a little later. So the first spot we can do is Remains of the Ancients or the Island. I prefer the Island, just because the mobs aren't really going to hurt you. Now this is if you don't have buff slaves. I'll do this and then show you the difference between having the buff slaves. So For Templar, you would just want your holy ground on the floor and using these. I've already applied the Onslaught, Holy Aura, and Imbued Light. These are your toggle abilities. It's useful to go over this. So Templar has 2 of these because this is a Templar ability, but Hate Aura. This is where you want to drag this onto your bar. This is going to allow you to taunt enemies around you. But Templar has its own version that is a little different. Same ability, it's just a little higher level usually. And then you just do this, and this is how you level from 170. I would recommend getting the timed Deco, or the timed 25 gear. That'll make this go faster, because obviously this is going to take you a little while to start. This is not how it goes after you've gotten all your gear and stuff, but as a starter you're not going to have the gear. So you just do this until it's dead, and then this will jump your EXP really high. This is also where you would want your growth potion. We have one of those. Is this the 170? Nope. Nope. So I'll have to go get one of those. It's another 100 mil. You get them from the box from 180, I think. So. And for later purposes, these stop working at level 180. So even if you pop it early, like 179, you try and want it going from 180, it stops working at 180. So that gimmick does not work. So you just keep doing this for a little bit, just keep spamming Heaven's Madness and Holy Ground. And eventually it will die. This is mostly for just getting more job points. That's the reborn message. That's if your character resets from 200 back to level 1. And then you restart this. But once you are at that point, you should have enough gear that this becomes very fast. Once you reborn, I recommend do not log out until you're back at level 180. This goes very quickly once you have the gear. If you log out, all your gear gets unequipped. So that makes it a lot more difficult. So see, we got a level. And we got enough job points. So let's go back using our all-in-one teleporter to get the timed gear to make this go a little faster. And I'm going to buff. I have buff slaves. You can make them. Same process. You just go through each one and make your own buff slaves. The ones I generally recommend are Magus, War Kahuna, Cardinal, Corruptor, Beastmaster, and Void Mage to get the attack speed, cast speed buff. So this is the gear you get for being timed. You use that with the Philosopher's Scroll. It becomes the gear. Not great. You want usually M attack, P attack on that, and then it's a 2-hand mace. Axe, 1-hand mace. Alright, unlucky rolls, but they are usable. Alrighty, so we would go to consumables here and get the growth potion superior. Takes up most of our money, but that's fine. Now we will go back to the leveling area and continue the grind. Stun Maze Perfection's another stun. But you see that one a lot faster. Now you can get multiples. And then just sit here with the AoE. This is an AoE. Just going through this one. This one reduces damage a little bit. This one's a little better. And then this is another stun. Just make sure you keep casting that. And yeah, this is the grind. So we will do this, go through the skills, make sure they are leveled. Which they are not. Now we can, is this level 22? Yes, okay. Some of them you have to redrag and do this over and over again, some you don't.
As you can see, it is leveling the one on the toolbar, thankfully. So we will not have to redrag it. Sometimes you do. It bugs out often enough. That's just a Rappelz thing, unfortunately. This is a 22-year-old game at this point. I think it came out in 2003 in development, then officially launched in 2005, 2006, and then came to the American market a year later. So it is just legacy game things that we have to deal with. And just keep taunting. It'll taunt this guy. He's coming over saying hello. As you're just leveling. And this is all this is, just getting started. This goes way faster once we have gear, like I mentioned before, so don't be put off by this too much. This is the slowest this will ever be again for you. So the one with Templars, the one I like using this one, is because it resets whenever we get hit. So every time we take damage or get hit by something, it'll reset the cooldown so you can spam it more. This is useful for the later Abyss stages. But I'll do this until 180 and then catch back. Alrighty, that took a little bit, but we got there. So we're now at 180. So now we will return to town. At this point, you will have to make a decision. I highly recommend you go to Gold Farm. So now I guess we'll go through the teleporter. So Volcanus Dungeon Teleport, Treasury Teleport, you're not going to use these. Battlefield of the Ancients, this is where you can get Nussy gear. Hard mode is where you also get Nussy gear. But notice, this is at 195, and this one's also going to be like 195-ish. Don't go here. You ain't ready for this. What instead I recommend is go to Gold Farm. Gold Farm will enable you to farm... Oh, hit no. Gold Farm will enable you to farm gold ingots from rabbits. So we're just going to run to one of the spots I recommend. So this is one spot right here. So you can just farm here, get the gold. As you can see, we're either getting silver or gold. And then you sell these for rubies and you can buy stuff. This is the second spot I recommend you farm. You just go back and forth here. And just do this for like 30 minutes to an hour. You can, if you're a Templar, just go AFK here. They will passively go to you. So if you want to go do stuff for a few hours while leaving this is highly recommended. So you're going to need around probably 100 bill to get all the stuff from the auction house you need. And once we farm enough, you can usually buy Nussy gear from the auction house. So this is what it comes to. It is unidentified HH, which means hammered. The time to Deco gear, or time to Nussy gear I will show you, is not hammered. You'll see a little double arrow thing. That means it's not hammered. You'll see the stat difference once I go to it. But this, you farm here for a bit, get enough gold, buy the Nussy gear. So we will now go back to town. And I will show you. Dun 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 dun. Alright. Yes. Okay. So this is like the gear you get. So, for instance, go to Trade Angel, sell bulk 1. Everything goes away. This stuff doesn't auto sell. But you see how this one is got the arrows. That's not hammered. NH, not hammered. Hammered. So that has 9,000 382. 9,200. It's also level 20. These do not get you the secondary skill when they're not hammered. This one allows you to get the specific skill. For this one, I rolled Heaven's Madness. So, for Templars, you'll want Righteous Purpose. That's what this one is. And I will go get you a Blessed Power of Change to show you what to do. Alright, so this is a Blessed Power of Change armor. You would go to the window, put the unidentified or undefined gear, Blessed Power of Change, voila, you get a skill. Do that for each item. You cannot do it to helmet. Helmet is already defined. It's another Rappelz fun thing. So you get 3 skills, and voila. You now have Nussy gear. So, in the auction house, this usually gets refilled once every few days. As you can see, it's about 10 billion from this guy. Sometimes you get these gears for 25 bill. So, like I said, about 100 bill. Bearskin belts are 250 bill. You can do that. I don't recommend that until a little later. But if you just set up AFK, you can buy one of these. And you just have to get the specific one for you. So for us, it would be the physical passive Deva skill. So we would have to buy this one. But each race has its own different one. So like that's Gaia, Deva. So this would be for like the bishop or something. So you would just have to go through this list. And yeah, so these rings are taming rings. These are incredibly useful for taming. So you get +4 levels for taming. These are occasionally filled, pretty rare, but they are there. This is a stage 5 death gladiator. Interesting. But this is why I recommend farming gold, so you can buy this instead of having to grind it out. But we are here. The next stage would be getting a weapon and shield. So I already have weapon and shield, so we would get that. We would go find our philosopher scroll and identify it. We got unlucky. Do it again. Unlucky. Okay. So these are pretty much near endgame items. Obviously, we would want the better rolls. To upgrade them, we would have to go to use our cubes here. So I will use the lucky cubes. These are now 100% guaranteed. You do not have to worry about failure, which is really nice. So we just upgrade them. Keep going, keep it going, keep it going. That's 19. +20. Alright, the shield. And then you just do this until each one's +20. And then we'll have to go to the blacksmith to level them up. As well as something else. So we equip these. So you can tell the difference between this armor and this armor. It's missing this red thing called Final Awakening. So let's put the new armor we just made on as well as this. And let's go to the blacksmith. So here is where you'll level up your gear, as well as Final Awakening. Final Awakening is completely free. So you just go through each one and just awaken them. One by one. and then you can level them up. But definitely highly recommend doing this for everything. It does not work for helmet, so you can skip the helmet. It does not work. You can just level up the helmet, and that's it. Okay, and now as you can see, helmet doesn't have anything, but this gives us 6,000 HP. The gloves gives us cast speed and attack speed, and the boots, most important one, gives us 120 stat. This one gives 500. So this is what I recommend you do. Get to plus 25 before doing this, because as you can see here, this is only plus 500 plus 500. If you were to do this at plus 25, just showing you, this is the difference between that weapon. You get 3,000 instead of 500, so definitely do this one. Okay, so I have swapped to my main account, or main character for this. This is the Book of Seven Seals. This is going to be how you reroll Guardian gear. You can use it on your Nussy gear, but this is really harder, like much harder to get the Nussy gear, so I don't recommend using this at all on Nussy gear. Save these for Guardian gear, but the same process, you put the Guardian gear in the slot, use this, and it resets it back to undefined, and you can re-roll the skill. Kind of important to do, but as well. So, the Deco gear, I mentioned before, you can get the basic Deco gear from Hector. That kind of works. They're not great, they're timed. I usually just skip them. This is Lava Deco gear. You get this from Volcanus farming. You can usually buy a full set of this for about 40 TGOLD. I recommend going that route rather than purely farming it. It's going to take you a little while. But yeah, it's much better than the other one. These are the awakening stones for your gear. This is for weapon, this is for accessories, this is for belts, armor, boots, gloves, helmet. This is the blue bonus, the awaken bonus, down at the bottom. That takes a while to get the stats you want. You can get up to plus 99 of a single stat. So vitality, intelligence, strength. Generally want to roll. I gave up on this one for now. I will re-roll this later. I just got annoyed. I got double vitality and called it there for now. It takes a long time. I'd rather just do other stuff than get another. But I will eventually go back. So this is the next zone. So this is 185. Same principle as the other one. You can go to here, zone in, voila. You are now at this spot. You can just run around, taunt, grab, and AoE. You're not going to be this strong. This is a very strong character. But same concept. This is one of the spots. You can go further in a little bit. You can go to this one. This one's not as good, honestly, because they're really spread out. But the next spot is fine. I usually go here. So you get this spot and then over here. So you can go back and forth, back and forth. That will allow you to level a little faster. Abyss 3, I honestly recommend you just go to the boss room for Abyss 3 using your all-in-one teleporter scroll. This is a popular spot right here. It's a 2 spot. You can just farm the dragons here. You can get up to level 200 here. This is the longest part of the grind, is getting to 200 with your first level character without a reborn. Other spots are here. Some people like go in this corner. And another one is over here. This is what Triple Dragon is. You have 3 spawns here, so you could just run around, grab the dragons, and level, And this goes fairly fast once you get the routine of it. Once you are done here, you can go back to town. After about Reborn 8, you can use Abyss 4 to level. This one's a little bit of a challenge. All the other ones, you can use pets without an issue. Abyss 4, on the other hand, you cannot use your pets here. They will die. You can try positioning them as much as you want. It's not going to work very well. So, as you can see, this is a very popular area for leveling from 195 to 230. So if you come here, generally speaking, this is just what you do. So if you can kill nearly this speed, which you can start doing around Reborn 8 to 10, this requires Devil. So if you see Undead for Eye of Punishment, that is the monster type. The Howling Banshee is a demon. So for Yeshiva gear and some of the other gears, but usually Yeshiva gear has these random and increased damage effects. This one reduces damage for the earrings, but the necklace increases the damage dealt. The belt increases the damage dealt, and the ring increases your damage dealt to specific types. So right now I'm in Devil. I use the necklace. Endgame optimization, you would also want a Yeshiva Devil belt and a diamond ring to be Devil as well as Beast. Beast is useful for Volcanus because most of the mobs up until the bosses are all beasts, and you want to be able to farm that as fast as possible. So most people just go with Beast gear because Yeshiva ring is really, really rare to get. So most people just stick with the one with Beast. Overall, it is easier to do damage. Next, we will be going to the card boxes. So let's go back to town. Okay. So near when you do Gold Farm, you'll be getting one of two boxes. You'll be getting Summon Scroll Random Box and Card Master. So remember at Lost Child where I showed you can buy +6 cards? Well, you can also get them from these boxes. If you open them, you get the +6 cards as well. This is a secondary bonus of doing the Rabbit area. These drop from most of the farming areas from like Abyss and stuff, but Rabbit area, it's a way faster kill speed. So you'll be getting a ton of these. The scrolls, you open them, you'll get the normal scrolls from Tortoise all the way up to Dragons and stuff. The arena box is where you get all the potions. So you see that I'm opening some of these. You'll get the extreme powers, not really useful, but you see gladiator potions, blight ogre card. That is where you get that stuff from if you don't want to buy it. This is, as you can see, you get a ton of these when farming. The elite boss souls, you get these again from Abyss farming. You would go to your NPC, go to the elite boss souls, and trade for 5. So take 5, you cost 250, you buy it, and voila, you now have food. This is how you get from +21 to +25. You just use your amalgamations and do that. So drag this down. Doot, amalgam. Now the stack is +24. Do the same thing. If you need it higher, boot, doot. Voila. Now it's +22.